Yes, as predicted, folks, socialists always use tragedies like the one in Christchurch to advance their own political agenda. Now, they've taken your guns and now they're after your speech. Have a look at this.
Kia ora, good evening. Is Facebook doing enough? The Christchurch terrorist attacks prompted the world's biggest social...
Prompted, or did Facebook welcome it? Did they welcome the chance to silence right-wing views? They are just the same as every other social media platform.
media player to ban white nationalist content. It's a significant policy U-turn for the tech giant, which already bans white supremacist content but allows white nationalist and separatist content. The move will also apply to Instagram, owned by Facebook. Both platforms are highly influential. Facebook has more than 2 billion monthly active users across the world, with an estimated nearly 5 billion pieces of content. Instagram's 1 billion monthly users is rising fast, with 400 million photo and video stories uploaded every day. While Facebook's move gets plenty of likes, some say more needs to be done. Here's Kim Baker-Wilson.
For many, the changes have been a long time coming. Facebook telling its users it's taking a stand against hate.
For years, they've treated white supremacist content different to white nationalist content. They've always tried to say that there was some form of distinction, which was always pretty unclear.
Those changes a ban on supporting white nationalism and white separatism.
We've had a lot of reports from New Zealanders over the last few days about this type of content, and it's been right on the cusp of the current rules, and now it'll be clear that it's something that we can have removed.
But the advertising industry says there's much more to do.
They haven't fixed the underlying issue that at a commercial level, and more importantly at a human level, that I think people are most concerned about. So they've certainly not done enough.
It's not enough either for the Prime Minister.
I still think that there is a conversation to be had with the international community about whether or not enough is being done. I think...
Oh, Jacinda, you're completely missing the point. Brendan Tarrant was not on social media. He went underground. He was hidden from police. And the more you try to silence speech, the more you're going to drive extremists underground. And that is worse than silencing speech. Anyway, right now we'll go and have a look at Kiwi Blog. Now, for those who don't know, Kiwi Blog is one of the biggest in New Zealand. And since the terror attack, David Farah, the owner of Kiwi Blog, seems to be struggling a bit with what content or what comments he should allow on his blog. And I completely understand that. He's in a dilemma. It's a hard one. But first, let's have a look at this. And I find this part particularly interesting. So let's look at Europe. Is this topic taboo in Europe? Well, far from being taboo, a Chatham House poll over 10 European countries found 55% of Europeans support a Muslim migration ban, and only 20% disagreed with it. Now, I'm one of the 20% who disagree, but consider the insanity of the demand that such a topic can't even be discussed on a blog in New Zealand when it is supported by majorities in Belgium, Germany, Greece, France, Italy, Austria, Hungary and Poland, plus pluralities, I can't even say that word, pluralities in Spain and the UK. And now, I totally agree with this. He's 100% correct there. It would be idiotic to try and silence 55% of Europeans and people who support that 55%. But the question I have is this. Of that 55%, what percent would be white nationalists? Now, I would say at most 10%. And the problem with these bans of white nationalists is that other people, like myself, and I'm definitely not a white nationalist. I could be roped in to that 10% of white nationalists simply because I express a similar viewpoint, and I support this 55%, and that is absolutely troubling for me. And this is what will happen once we start banning the white nationalists. Everybody else is going to get, who expresses a similar opinion will be grouped into the same. And that is very, very dangerous for free speech. But anyway, right now we'll go down and have a look at what he's going to do about his comments. Now, folks, I've posted a link to this video, to this page, simply because it's a very, very good read, and it highlights the predicament David Farah is in. Now, he's written a very, very good article here, actually. So I'll just go down to where it goes on to. Let me see. New proposed moderation policy, that's the one. So now you can read this for yourself later. Defamation, that's an obvious one. Trolling is an obvious one. Personal abuse, that's getting a bit tricky now. Gratuitous references, generalizations, and language. Now, the last four there seem to be a bit difficult, and they are a bit of a problem for me, because that is trying to tell people how to speak. Now, in a perfect world, maybe everybody speaks the same, but they don't. We're not in a perfect world, and people speak differently. For example, people on a building site speak completely differently than people who are teachers or lawyers, for example. And you cannot silence people who speak differently. So this kind of discriminates against people who speak differently, and it is a problem. Now, some people just don't speak the same way. Now, I completely understand what David is trying to say here, but it can't really work, because he will be silencing people who shouldn't really be silenced. Everyone has an opinion. Now, to give you an example of that, I'll just show you this. Now, this is a comment that was placed on my YouTube channel, and it was banned by YouTube. Now, I'll just read that to you. Racist ass. He's referring to me. Racist ass. You should go back to Europe if you don't like Aotearoa. It should be you are in the wrong country. People like you feed this white supremacist narrative. I'm Maori. You are an idiot. Ah, dear. Now, it's kind of ugly, and he calls me a white supremacist. And I'm clearly not a white supremacist at all. And I could call him a Maori supremacist, but I'm not. But that's not really the point. The point is, I think this guy, this Maori guy, so long as he doesn't threaten my life, he has the right to. He has a right to his opinion. He has a right to say this stuff. It might be ugly, but this is how he speaks. And he has the right to view his point in the language he likes. And I have the right to read it. So this is a problem I have. So, and I don't think it's up to YouTube to decide what this guy writes and what I get to read. Now, I can just discard this. I don't have to have it. I don't have to. I completely ignore it. But that is the problem. We're getting into a dangerous area, folks. A very dangerous area indeed. Now, once we start silencing speech, we have no democracy left at all. And I, for one, do not want to become like the people in Venezuela. And that is the way we are heading, and that's very, very dangerous indeed.